I don't like to be overly optimistic because it seems like
Yep.
every time throughout my career I got really excited about gold. You end up putting your foot in your mouth a little bit. So I'm approaching this with kind of guarded optimism, but I can tell you the energy that I'm hearing from investors, from other members of the gold community is that everybody feels we are set up for a strong run in 2023, and we saw that starting in November of 2022. Gold's up 15% since November 1st. It's outperforming the S&P, the Dow, NASDAQ, and even Bitcoin. So there's definitely been some momentum there. On the retail side, there's quite a bit of activity. I can tell you a lot of larger purchases happening right now, which means sophisticated investors are recognizing this as an opportunity to buy some gold and silver. So yes, we're feeling it right now. Development premiums were really high since COVID began. They were as high, and we've talked about this previously on your show, they were as high as we've seen them in my tenure. Right now, I was just pricing out some silver for a client this morning, and I had to second guess our trader. I said, wow, are these premiums that you just quoted me correct? Because they've come down dramatically. So you find yourself in this interesting situation where the price of gold is climbing, and there seems to be more gains ahead for gold and silver, and yet the premiums have softened quite a bit. So yes, to answer your question, if I'm an investor, I feel pretty confident that the price is going to continue rising because the table is set for that, and we can talk about why that is. But the premiums are quite soft right now, so take advantage while they last. My suspicion right now is that this is a fairly short-term opportunity, and the mints and the refiners, they work kind of like on a pretty strict production schedule, right? They don't increase or decrease their production. It doesn't vary very much from week to week and from month to month. We did see a slowdown in the demand from retail investors for physical products. Kind of November, December, and January were actually fairly slow. So I think there is quite a bit of inventory on the market right now that's available. So that's probably one reason. It's only this recent uptick in gold that was, we saw a lot of price action towards the end of January and early February. That's really where this excitement is coming from, and this buying is actually quite recent. So I think there was quite a bit of inventory buildup in the latter half of 2022, which buyers are now able to take advantage of in the retail. I had lunch when I was down here in Cayman. I got invited to a lunch. And all of the other attendees were certified financial advisors. So very intelligent people that study the equities markets every day and make recommendations to high net worth clients that they service out of Cayman. And at one point, we went around the table and did like a poll of how they felt about 2023 and 2024. How likely are we going to go into a recession? And how were they feeling about the equities markets? And I can tell you the consensus of what they expect from the equities markets is actually quite poor in 2023 and 2024. They're quite worried about how they're going to position their clients. So this is a reflection of the larger market, and really this is where gold and silver come in as a safe haven investment. So that's probably what Adrian is referring to, is that the Main Street is worried about what is going to happen in the next 12 months. And when Main Street is worried, they start looking for outs, and gold and silver is one of those outs. And so I'm not surprised to hear that from Adrian.
Yep.
The other thing that is really worth keeping a close eye on, and I've been saying this now for the last 6 months, is the US dollar, strength of the US dollar. It correlates directly to the performance of gold and silver, as we know. Now, the USD has come down about 8% from its high, but it's still got ways to go towards its long-term median. I think it's about 7 or 8% above that long-term median right now. So if you factor a continuing softening of the USD, even though we had that jobs number that came out, 2 Fridays ago, that gave a little momentum back to the USD, but there is a general downward trend. If we get another 7 or 8% downward trend there, you're going to see gold and silver move up about 7 or 8% for gold, and silver is probably going to go up anywhere between 10 to 15%. So that puts us at gold at, $2,050 an ounce, $2,100 an ounce. It puts us at silver, $26, $27 an ounce. So there's definitely something to be excited about, and those are the things I'm looking at. I can't say that we've had a tremendous amount of demand for platinum, but again, that's, we're just one player in a much bigger market, and it is one of those metals that most retail investors won't even consider buying, right? So
Yeah.
I haven't heard it yet, but I did read the article myself. I found it was quite interesting. I do own platinum. I think everyone should have some platinum and palladium in their portfolio, although palladium, on the other hand, is having a rough go. And a lot of that is based on industrial demand. There mustn't be as many cars rolling off the lines right now. Gold is the pillar of any precious metals portfolio. So always start with gold, always have a decent allocation. You know, your 5 to 15% of your total investment portfolio should be allocated or can be allocated to gold. Silver is your trade. Silver is volatile and it's done well. It's up 17% since November 1st. It's outperformed gold by 2%. Nothing really meaningful there, but it just goes to show that it can outperform gold under certain market conditions. And platinum and palladium, those are your kind of long-term industrial plays. I'd like to go back to that article by StoneX and really understand their arguments if it's going to decouple from palladium, because that metal does seem to be struggling right now. You know, I talk a lot about this coin. It's the silver maple leaf by the Royal Canadian Mint. Like if you're maybe in a newer relationship or you don't have a lot of money to spend on your loved ones, you know, this coin
I
is
love
probably going
that.
to cost you about $28 US right now. You can take delivery. Those premiums have really come down, like you said.
So
So maybe a good product. And
basically,
it's also a good test to see if they're interested in gold and silver as an investment like we are. So, you know, you don't want to go full gold on them and not be sure that they're going to appreciate it. But for those of us who know that their loved ones, like my wife, for example, does enjoy
yeah.
receiving precious metals, you know, the gold eagle is a wonderful coin. I don't know. Yeah, you can probably see that pretty well. You know, that's going to run you about 2,000 US dollars right now, and that is something that can be passed around generation to generation, or really will increase in value, obviously, as prices go up. But I thought for the ladies, you know, getting a little bit more creative. I
Yeah.
know a lot of women, and we talked about platinum. Women love platinum rings. It is the shiniest metal of all, so it
Yeah.
draws attention. And if you couple that with one of the cutest animals on the planet, that's a platinum kangaroo by the Australian Mint, by the Perth Mint. That could be a really nice gift. That'd be about 1,000 US dollars. And if you believe StoneX, that price is going to go up significantly. And last but not least, this is probably the most, when we show people products when they come visit us and we pull products out of the vault to show them, this is probably the product that people just
I
kind
know
of
what it's going to
all
be.
over. Yeah,
I think I
you
know
know
what it's going to be.
what do you think it's going to be? A couple of quick tips there. You're going to want to buy products that have good brand recognition and liquidity, so that when it comes time to sell, you don't have any difficulties doing so. So stick to the brand names. We've talked about that before. You'll want to sell to a reputable dealer, so someone that's going to pay you a fair price. That should be around the spot price, give or take 1%, depending on the product that you own and the market conditions. And lastly, you know, we've talked about this in the past. If you want to make it really, really easy, you can
Yeah.
store it with companies like SWP or other vaults around the world where you can buy and sell within the vault. You don't have to take it home. You don't have to ship it back. It's already
Right.
there. It's in your box, and you can liquidate it whenever you want.